All right, we're back. Act 5, Scene 2, and this is the last scene of Hamlet. So, tried it. The first attempt took me past the 15-minute video, so it looks like I'm going to have to do this in two parts. So, this is part 1 of Scene 2, and we have the first part is the explanation of how Hamlet got back to Denmark. And so he goes in a little more detailed compared to the letter that Hamlet had received from Horatio, or Hamlet had sent to Horatio, and Horatio had received back in Act 4. And so he goes into a little more detail that they were en route to England, and then all of a sudden there was an attack. And this attack was by a band of pirates, and so there was fights ensued, and so on and so forth. And as a result, we find out that Hamlet is able to talk to the pirates to let the ship continue on to England. If they take Hamlet back to Denmark, and they will be paid very well for doing so. And so they agree to do that. But before that's done, Hamlet realizes or finds out that Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are in possession of a letter that was written by Claudius, because the signet in the wax on the back of the letter shows the signet of the king, or the symbol of the king, and it's you can't break the seal and then try to fix it up, put it back together again, because then you could tell it's been tampered with. So even though it's as simple as pouring wax on a piece of paper to seal it, the security was actually not too bad for that. So he breaks the seal, reads it, finds out that he's supposed to be killed upon arrival, and so Claudius makes it or writes it to state that this would help with our relations and stuff like that. So he writes a brand new letter, and of course he had his dad's ring already on him, and of course that's the seal of the king. And so he reseals, well, not reseals, he seals that letter and places in possession of Rosencrantz and Guildenstern. Now, not sure whether Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are aware of this, of the switch and stuff like that. I can't find anything in the text that says otherwise, but we'll have to assume that they were either oblivious to what's going on, because they were already oblivious to what Claudius had in store for them when they were called to find out what was going on why Hamlet was mad in the first place, and then they stuck around. They didn't go back to school. They continued to serve the king, and in the hopes of maybe improving their status in society, that kind of thing. So a bit of greed, selfishness, and stupidity, all that kind of stuff, all rolled into one. So they continue on to England. Hamlet is back, and then once Hamlet finishes that story, then Osric comes in, and he's declaring that there is going to be a duel, a public one, between Laertes and Hamlet. And so he wants to know whether Hamlet will agree to the wager that's been presented. And Hamlet says, "Oh, yeah, I'll agree to it. I'll win it." It's so a little bit of pride there, and he does acknowledge the fact that he's done Laertes harm, and the harm is the taking his dad's life or killing Polonius, and also not protecting Ophelia. So lots of regret there. And so if this duel is going to restore any faith or the reputations of both men and the memories of those that have died, then so be it. And Horatio says, Hamlet, you're not going to win this. There's no way you're going to win this. And Hamlet says, oh yeah, I'm going to win this. No, I got this done. I'm a better swordsman than Laertes is anyways. I have more practice and more experience and stuff like that. And so with that, Horatio's done all he can. Hamlet's made up his mind, and they're going to get ready for this duel. Now, the duel itself is public, and again, Hamlet knows that he has the support of the public. The public loves him. So despite his behavior as of late, the public is still pro-Hamlet. So knowing that he has that support on during the duel, he can play up to that and use that to his advantage, and it would probably distract Laertes as well, because Laertes would not have that support, especially the fact that he's been in France the whole time. So and if you were part of the court, you'd probably go, Laertes who? We haven't seen the guy since Act 1, Scene 2. So it's like, oh, that's the guy that went to France, right? Whose son does he belong to? Oh, Polonius. Didn't he have a sister? Yes, Ophelia. Laertes who? Okay, so it's like Laertes has done himself a disservice by not getting involved more in the family, more in the court life, being supportive of his sister, protective of his sister, that kind of thing. He was very selfish and took off because he and his father were not on great terms, and even though the impression was there, he just felt that he didn't have that support there, but he wasn't there for Ophelia either, and of course there's a lot of regrets there on both sides. Even Hamlet feels the same way. So that's where we leave for part 1. Stay tuned for part 2.